Hi and welcome to WorkYard. In this video, we'll cover time clock rules in WorkYard. Time clock rules are settings that control how and when team members' time is recorded. They help automate rounding, manage shift lengths, enforce location policies, and streamline meal break compliance, all while improving payroll accuracy and reducing manual oversight. The first step is to sign into WorkYard using a computer. Once you're signed in, you can head over to your time cards page. And once you're in your time cards page, you can click on time settings. And this will bring you straight to these time clock rules. Another option we do have is if you hover over this gear icon and click on company, this will also bring you to your time clock rules. Once you're in your time clock rules, you'll see a few options. We'll start with time tracking settings. Under time tracking settings, we have time clock rounding. Now, these rounding rules adjust clock in and clock out times to the nearest chosen increment, and you can choose from 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and 30 minutes. The next feature we have here is enable time tracking, and this just allows your team members to be able to track time using the WorkYard application. Next, we have allow deletion or editing of clock in, clock out time, and breaks. Now, if we have this feature enabled, we are allowing team members from this group here to edit their own time cards. They're able to edit those clock in, clock out time, and break times. If we disable this feature, then we are restricting those edits entirely, and it would just be restricted to administrators or managers that have access to the team members' time cards. Now, the ability to toggle this on and off gives you that flexibility depending on the level of control or trust you want to set for different roles. We do also give you the ability to create different role groups for different team members that have different job titles or policies that you want to implement here. The next option we have is allow clock in and clock out from kiosks. Now, a kiosk in WorkYard is a shared iPad typically mounted at a job site that allows multiple workers to clock in and out, submit photos, select job or cost codes if required, all of this without needing their personal phone. And this is ideal for centralized job sites like warehouses, construction trailers, or offices. Now, it's important to note that a kiosk does come with our Pro or Enterprise subscription. The next option we have is verify clock in with facial photo and verify clock out with facial photo. So this just makes it so we can require team members to take a photo as part of their clock in experience, clock out experience, and this adds an extra layer of verification. This helps you confirm who's on site and keeps records for compliance or audits. Now, you are able to just enable one or the other or both at the same time if you'd like. Now, once we're done with time tracking settings, we're just going to move over to location tracking. And we have a few options depending on the level of privacy you would like to set for your team members. We have the continuous location tracking while clocked in, and this allows for continuous location tracking for driving routes, miles, geofences, all while they're clocked in only. And this is great if you want accuracy and accountability while crews are supposed to be working. The next option we have is location tracking only on clock in and clock out. This records your location at the time of clock in and clock out only. This is great for groups only using kiosk mode, for example, groups with teams or individuals with privacy concerns, or groups where team members are only at a single job site a day. The last option we have is to disable location tracking completely, and this would apply, for example, remote workers or for team members that, we have privacy concerns, or perhaps where supervisors are clocking everyone in and there's no need to enable any location tracking here. Next, we have our time limits. Now, with our time limitations, this helps prevent unauthorized time tracking and keeps payroll aligned with scheduled shifts. we have the option to clock in from, and what this does is it sets the earliest time a worker is allowed to clock in each day. An example of this is, let's say we want that clock in to be set at 6 a.m. every day for all of our team members. The worker cannot clock in before this time, even if they arrive early to the project. Let's say they try to clock in at 5:50 a.m. They are put in a pending stage until 6 a.m. comes about, and then they will be clocked in. Similarly, clock out by sets a clock out time, so your team members are not allowed to clock out any time before this clock out time. And lastly, we have total hours per time card, and it sets a maximum limit on the total number of hours that can be recorded on a single time card for each team member. It's important to note that all time limit configurations are optional. This provides you with that flexibility to apply only the ones that are most useful to you, or you can use them all together. Next, we have our autofill clockout time. So when clocking out, team members' time cards will be autofilled to the last project exit time. And what this means, an example of this is, let's say your team member left the project geofence at 5 p.m. but didn't clock out until they got home at 6 p.m. It'll just change their clock out time to the last time they were within that project geofence, which was 5 p.m. for this example. Now, auto clock in, we have quite a few options for this. With auto clock in, this feature automatically starts tracking time when a worker enters a project geofence. So that would apply to the automatically clock in on project geofence entry. It uses GPS and motion activity from the worker's mobile device to detect arrival and begin the shift. So no manual action is needed for your team members. This helps prevent any missed clock ins, reduces manual errors. And just to note here that a geofence must be set up for the project, and workers' location permissions must be set to always allow for auto clock in to work. Next, we have the send mobile notification to clock in upon entering geofence if not clocked in. So this won't automatically clock in your team members, but it will send a notification through the app just reminding them to clock in themselves. And if we just disable this feature altogether, it just makes it so your team member will be responsible for clocking in on their end. Now, with restrict clock in, this rule prevents workers from clocking in unless they're within the GPS boundary of a project geofence. This is great for ensuring that time is only tracked while they are on site. With automate meal breaks, this helps meet any labor compliance requirements. You can set Workyard to automatically deduct a meal break depending on your state. For example, if we click on the plus add a meal break button, the example we have here is it will deduct 30 minutes after your team member works for 4 hours. Now, this just ensures that break policies are followed even if a worker forgets to clock out for lunch. We can also send any meal break reminders and send any 10-minute rest break reminders every 4 hours here. If we don't want to use it, then again, your team members will be responsible for logging their own meal breaks on their end. Now, lastly, here we have our time card sign off. Now, with the first option we have here, it does require your team members to sign off a series of compliance questions as part of their clock out experience. This helps build an audit trail for your company and helps confirm that everything went as expected throughout your team members' shift. If there are any unexpected answers here, what happens is that you as the administrator, you are alerted about these unexpected answers, and it lets you know that it requires your attention. And next, we have the prompt team members to verify their total recorded work hours at the end of every pay period. So the work hour summary sign-off feature ensures that team members, managers, and admins review and confirm their work hours for each pay period. And then what you can do is download and print sign-off forms for compliance records for your company. Once again, this comes with our enterprise subscription. Now, that's a full overview of time clock rules in Workyard. By configuring the right rule groups, you can streamline operations, improve time accuracy, and make sure your payroll stays compliant and efficient. If you need help setting up rule groups or want a best practice recommendation for your crew, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can always hover over the question mark bubble to the left hand side and send us a message or call us directly. Thank you.